This one's on me. So back in September 1st, I got the Kuretake, the Graphite set, and the Sumikundo ink set. And I said, okay, I'm going to do 2 videos. I'm going to record 2 videos. And I said, okay, I'm going to do the Graphite first. So let me get the Graphite paint out. And I grabbed the ink paint. And I did one side. I'm like, wow, this doesn't seem like Graphite paint at all. And then I did on the other side Graphite paint. The Derwent Graphite. And I did the Graphitin. And I did that. I was looking at it thinking, wow, this is so different. I don't understand. Why are these so different? This looks nothing like Graphite. Then I looked down and realized which ones I used. Sometimes I do dumb things. That's okay. Don't worry about that. But anyway, what I'm doing here, I'm going to pretend like I did this intentionally. It was all on purpose, really. It was by design. Then I'm going to do the ink on the left side and then the Derwent Graphitin on the right side. And we're going to look at painting with ink versus painting with graphite paint. How about that? We'll just do that. Because I don't want the video to go to waste. I actually really like how it came out. So we're going to do that and pretend. Just play along, will you? Just pretend I did it the right way. And we'll just have a good laugh about this another time. For now, you're going to pretend like it's serious. Alright, so we're going to get into that, but I just want to mention that this was definitely a mess up. Alright, let's get into it. So there is a very important lesson here to be learned, and I hope you pick up on it. And here's the actual lesson. If you ever set out to do anything and you completely screw it up, you open up an opportunity to then do something even greater. And if that is not true, at least you surround yourself with the kind of people who will lie to your face and tell you that you did a great job anyway. That's really the most important lesson I could teach you. You surround yourself with the right people. They see your mistake and they cringe, but they don't let you see them cringe. Oh, yeah, you did a good job. This is so wonderful. That was a wonderful video you just did. It was a good job. That's okay. That's what I'm looking for. So hopefully some of you will do that for me. But in all honesty, here's something that I really found out that I love about this mistake. And that is when I put them side by side and I painted them out side by side, I'm looking at it saying, oh, this is not right. Going back into the ink and putting in extra detail versus going back in with the graphite paint and putting in extra detail. The paints themselves, I'm calling them paints, don't give me crap about that. The paints themselves, they react differently and they look differently, and because of that, they caused me to put in different details in each one. So the detail work that I put into the ink is much different than the detail work that I put into the graphite paint because it laid differently on the paper. The textures are different. So it forced me, and I don't mean forced as in I didn't want to do it. I mean it forced me as in this is how I would naturally react to that texture. It forced me to put in some different things and make the 2 drawings look completely different. And that was something I thought was so interesting. I had never paid attention to that before. And I finally paid attention to it, and I thought it was a wonderful thing. So now I know when I paint with ink, I'm going to use different line work, and I'm going to have a different strategy than if I paint with the graphite paint. Just like I do with watercolor. I think, all in all, the ink was a little bit more like watercolor. But still was very different in certain ways. There was different things about it. So some of the things that I want to say are the benefits. Let me look at the thing while I'm talking to you. That way it helps me. Because I had some things in my head, but you know how that goes. Anyway, so when I'm looking at the ink, I like how I was able to put like a second layer of ink in and put some detail and make things very, very contrasty. Remember, we decided that was a word last time. Very contrasty. So I can make things very dark or very light with the ink. Whereas with the graphite paint, you can get a little bit darker and a little bit lighter. But for the most part, you're sticking with the same thing. You're sticking with a relatively the same kind of values that are on the page. the ink is completely different. You have very light spots and very dark spots. So when you're looking to put in some detail, you can really use that to your advantage for texture. Whereas with the graphite paint, it kind of takes a little bit more concentration to figure out where the detail is going to go. But the benefit of it is that it's so soft looking. It looks like, someone described it perfectly. It looks like velvet. It looks like you're painting with velvet. And if there's one thing I love, it's velvet. Do you remember in Seinfeld, George Costanza said if he could, he would drape himself in velvet every day? I don't feel that way, but I do love velvet, and I would probably have velvet things because I like that. I'd have a velvet chair, and sometimes it's a little creepy, but I don't mean it that way. I like that feeling of velvet. So when you paint and it looks like that, that's just a beautiful thing. So if you want something to look very soft and not be very harsh, you would use the graphite paint. If you want something to be more detailed and more contrasty, then you would use the ink, something you can put a little bit more detail in the paint part and then work in the ink that way, whereas the graphite paint, you have to put a little bit more work in the ink, and the paint itself is just more, it's just soft. It's a beautiful color paint, or a beautiful type of paint. I absolutely love it. And like I said, they're completely different. If you look at where they join, right in the middle of the page where the two paintings join, you'll see that when you go, especially on that pink, that dusky pink from both sets, you go from one to the other. And I'm using the Sumikundo ink, but I'm using the Graphite paint pans because that was what I was most familiar with. I wish I would have, if I would have done this on purpose, which we're pretending I did, but if I really did that, I would have probably used the Kuretake graphite paint on the right side. That way I could, because you can get a little bit darker with that and get a little bit more texture. So I probably would have compared those two, but not knowing and just, it doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a difference. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, when you see the blue mesh with the blue and the pink mesh with the pink, look at how different the detail work is on the center of that page. It's completely different. And that's because of how the paint itself acts. So you always need to work with your supplies. You work with your paints. You work with your, whatever you're using. You're using the graphite paint, you're using ink, you're using watercolor, you're using acrylics, whatever it is you're using, you have to work within that medium to get the things that you want done. So make sure that you experiment a lot with them so that you know all the different things that it will do so that you can put in that detail. I think this was a great lesson. I learned more in this video than when I did this painting than I did doing probably 20, 30 other ones, because it was so shocking to me that I work so differently with different mediums. I didn't realize that I did that much. I know I did a little bit. I have different things that I like to do, different styles. But this is basically the same style on both sides, but they're completely different. So that was very interesting to me. At least I did. And maybe it's not interesting to you. Maybe you've already clicked off the video and you're tired of my yammering. But I thought it was pretty interesting. Okay, now, that brings me right into the next thing I want to say. It's just how wonderful how these things just go right into the next thing. It really has nothing to do with it. It's a completely different subject, but I'm already pretending in this video, so we're gonna pretend it's the same subject as this. So, do you know how people say that you project things? Like if you look at someone, you look at something that they do negative, you say something mean about someone, then you're really projecting yourself, and it's your own faults and problems that you're projecting into that person or something. I don't think that's true at all. When I say it all, I don't think it's true a lot of times, because I see things that I would call evil that other people do that I would never do. And I still call it evil, and it's not a projection. I'm just calling out what they're doing. Anyway, on the flip side, no one ever does the opposite of that. So when you think about like buying a gift, I'm going to use this as an example. When you think of like buying a gift for someone, you actually project yourself into that, and no one ever talks about that. So I noticed this because I'm thinking about my wife decided to give her father for his birthday something that he would like to go see, and it happened to be a concert because it's music that he would like to go see. And why is that? It's because that's what she likes to do. What she likes to do is go to concerts. She likes to do activities around that kind of entertainment thing. So when she goes to look for a gift for someone, she looks for that kind of activity that they like to do. For me, she bought me the falconry experience where you go and you fly the bird, because it's something that it's an experience. It's something I would like to do. When I look for a gift for someone, I look for what I enjoy. So I enjoy doing things. Like I enjoy art, and I enjoy music, and I enjoy things like that. So creating it, so or playing it, or create painting or drawing, that kind of stuff. So when I look at buying a gift for someone, I look at what do they like to do, and let me get them something that helps them enjoy that more. So I might buy someone, I'm just spitballing here because I'm just saying, but if someone likes to play music, I might buy them a music book, or a new set of strings, or maybe a couple of chords, or a pedal that they use with their guitar, or something like that. Art, might buy them some paints that I know that they'll enjoy, or I might buy them a sketchbook that I know that they'll enjoy. I don't buy things like that I know that they won't enjoy. People do that all the time. They're like, oh, this person's an artist, they must like sketchbooks, and they buy them a piece of garbage. Don't do that. But what I'm saying is something that I know that they would enjoy. Like if I know that they enjoy a certain type of marker or a certain type of paint, I might buy some of that, and it would be the colors that they use and the type that they use. That way they enjoy it. But that's what I look for when I buy something for someone. So you kind of project what you like onto that person, no matter what it is, whether it's good or bad. Sometimes you project things that you like onto someone else and think that they would like that thing also because you do. It's a natural thing. It's just how your brain works. You think, oh, I like something around this category, so they must, because they like this, so they must like these things around that category. Now, I'm not saying either one of us was wrong or right about that. Matter of fact, when she got me the falconry stuff, I absolutely loved it. When she bought her father the concert tickets, he absolutely loved it. That's not the point. And still, if I buy someone something that they use, that they love it. So it's not what's better. I'm just saying, do you realize that you do that? Do you pay attention to the fact that you project things that onto other people, things that you like in that same category, that same realm, and just assume that that's what they would like too? I'm not saying that they wouldn't, but that's just how the human brain works, I guess. I just thought that was a very interesting thing, and that's the only tie that has to this painting here, is that I thought both things were interesting. So, just so you know, I'm projecting myself onto you right now because I thought you would think that was interesting because I thought it was interesting. And since you watch this channel and I create the channel, I assume that you're going to like the thing that I just said. And you may hate it. You may not like it at all, but I decided that I'm pretending that you did like it. And I may not even read any comments about it. So, and now that you've had a chance to look at more of this, you see what I'm saying, right? You see how that's is such a different texture between one and the other, and where I put the lines and how I put the lines on the left side versus on the right side. You see exactly what I was talking about with this, right? I just wanted to bring it back around here for a little while. So I'm saying all I thought is these two things were a little interesting. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting. That's all I was trying to say. You know who else I think is interesting? These people popping up on the screen right here. I think they are very interesting people. I've gotten to know them pretty well, and I think that they are interesting people. So, and they apparently think that I'm interesting because they pay for these videos to go up. So they probably like the thing that I was talking about, even if maybe other people didn't. So thumb up the video if you are going to try and... I don't know. What was the video? Okay, comparing. If you're going to try one of these and put any medium that you use next to the other medium and see if you use it, just put them side by side on the page and see if one of them forces you to do something differently than the other one and you'd never noticed it before. And if that's you, then you're in the right place. That's just basically, that's my entire life. I wake up every day and realize I should have been doing something differently than I have been my entire life, and I like that better anyway. So alright, if you would like to join our community, go to illustrationsbypete.com. You can come in, you can put your own artwork on the site and promote it. You can find some inspiration in the free reference photos. You can just use them however you want in your artwork. You do not need to credit me. Or you can come into the forums and talk to some people and maybe give some advice and maybe find a little bit of information that helps you. So come check us out. Alright, that's about it for me. I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next one.